Alright, guys. Oh, sorry that I am late. I've been trying to figure this mod out, so um, still really new to this mod, really trying to get all of this stuff figured out. So I have here a bunch of notes. So what I want to do is I want to get this set up. So a few key figures to really think about when we're talking about the Battle of Shiloh. So we're gonna have uh, General. He looks like Albert Johnston. I don't know why that's. Yeah, no. Where we go? Beauregard. We might want to, if we can't find Albert Sidney Johnston, because that was the highest ranking Confederate officer in the Battle of Shiloh. I believe the highest ranking officer that was killed in the Civil War, if I remember correctly. But since we can't find General Johnston, we'll just use General Beauregard because General Beauregard was there and he actually took over right after Johnston had died. And we also have General Grant here. So, kind of like the two biggest key figures when it comes to the Battle of Shiloh. So I would say Johnston had a little bit more of a play when it came to the Battle of Shiloh. But let me see. We need some. Obviously, I don't have control over the other player here. So it's not exactly going to be an actual like one for one reenactment, but um we are going to get this set up. Okay. So we do need uh we'll just use what 54 54 guns, I think, maybe. Or that's just the total number of men, which is fine. We can use that other way. Um I don't I don't really believe there were any cavalry so much. Well, other than the general staff maybe. But let's see. Um So these were boys typically from, I believe, Mississippi. So let's see if we can rep Mississippi here, because that's where the battle was taking place. Northern Mississippi. Oh, well, I think we just saw it. Oh, 18th Mississippi, and we'll do Alabama, Georgia. It might 13th Mississippi. There we go. 18th Mississippi. We already got 13th Mississippi. Okay. Yeah, we'll do Alabama. No, not North Carolina. No, that's. Oh, there we go. I think what was that? 13th Mississippi. Okay. Well, hang on. We can't have two 13th Mississippis. That's weird. 3rd Tennessee. Oh, we already have. Well, you know what? Why not? Why not? Okay. No, not Virginia. Probably. Oh, we already got some Georgia in there, Alabama. Oh, some more Tennessee, Mississippi. Oh, Maryland? They got Maryland in here too? What? That's kind of crazy. Um, so the reason I am choosing Mississippi, boys from down south, is because it was in 1862. Okay, the war had already been started for a couple years, or had been going on for a couple of years now, and I'll get more into it. But um, the Confederates were losing. They were losing. They were falling back, and so they needed fresh troops from, the Confederacy. So that's why I'm choosing to go down instead of all over. Now, General Grant here. Let's see. We're gonna do, yeah, we're gonna do one of those. Let's see if we can do some more guns here. Because I do want to try and get a good representation of the Hornet's Nest, but we'll see. We'll see how the AI plays. Like I said, it's not going to be an exact one for one for the reenactment. Unfortunately, I just don't have the capability of doing that right now. But um, I can absolutely tell you the history of it. So we'll get into the history of it. Let's see. So we'll get some boys from the Ohio region. So repping Ohio. If you guys are watching from Ohio, you better let me know. So Ohio, and then we got what we got. We need some guys from Kentucky too. Do we have any Kentucky? No, I think that was Confederacy. So Ohio, Ohio, Ohio. Do we already get? Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Kentucky. Yep. Kentucky. No, that's Illinois. We don't need Illinois. Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio. All right. Oops. We don't need Illinois. We need Ohio. Do you think? No. Okay. Ohio. All right. So just a couple more. Oh, wait, hang on. My audio's not. You guys gotta let me know when the audio's not working. All right. I'm glad I saw that. So let's see. See, where else could we pull from? I saw another Ohio, I believe. Yep. Yep. And then oh, hang on just a quick second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. My neighbor called me, so I was just answering that real quick. Okay, all right. So let's see. Can we pull some more from Mississippi? Maybe uh probably pull some more from Louisiana. And then I think, well, actually, here, let's probably take a couple of those out. All right. Okay. Let's see. We'll just call that. All right. Appreciate you guys sticking with me for that. All right.
Where the enemy are concentrated, prepare a defensive line.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and give you guys the setup. Oh, did we choose the bat? Or hang on. I want to make sure we got the right map here. I want to make sure we got the right map. Yep, Shiloh. Let's see. Where can I load? Oh. Um. Well, how can I? Oh, load army. Okay. Load army. What? Oh, don't tell me we have to do this all over again. Well, that's annoying. Which one? I forgot which division that we. Oh, I think it was the. Yes. Okay. All right. So we needed. We'll take some from Georgia, Mississippi, obviously. Alabama. Take some from Louisiana too. Mississippi. Tennessee is definitely going to be there. Let's take just a couple more here. Oh, we want some more Tennessee. Rep in Tennessee. Those of you who are watching from Tennessee, give me a shout out. And then we also have Army of the Tennessee. So Grant. And then we want Ohio, Kentucky, Ohio. Oh, we're in Wisconsin. Wisconsin's got cooties. Ohio. Oh. Did we get all the boys that we need for Kentucky? I think we did, yeah. All right, so we got Ohio. All right, so we already have quite a bit here. All right, I think that's going to be yes. All right. All right. Okay, just making sure. All right. Oh, perfect.
Hiding stronger units to the rear may entice the enemy into
All right. Okay, so the setup of the battle. Okay. So 1862, second year of the American Civil War. War's been raging. It's been very bloody so far. The thing is that the Confederacy is now losing. And oh, hang on. Hang on. I'm just checking something real quick. Is this the church right here? Because this is Pittsburgh Landing, isn't it? This is Pittsburgh Landing, right? Why do they have this? Yeah, this isn't right. This isn't right. This isn't right. They switched it up on us, guys. I don't know. I don't know why they did that. And now we're gonna have to. Now, here, let's see if we can. We still can't load. Oh my god. They gotta fix this. This is so time consuming. All right, so gonna have to get our armies again. So bear with me, guys. Let's see, Georgia, Louisiana. We want some skirmishers because those guys are important. So skirmishers. Let's see, where's Mississippi at? Got to rep Mississippi again. Some Alabama. Oh, Tennessee. And then let's see, let's get some guns here. They were pretty heavy on the guns. More Mississippi, more Tennessee. And I think that's probably going to do it for that. Now we want Army of the Tennessee. Okay, so we got Kentucky, Ohio. We want to mainly focus on Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee. I'm glad I caught that before it started. I knew something was. I knew something was off as soon as I saw that map. It was like, there's no way that makes any sense. So we also want to give these guys some guns too. And then let's see. Not too many guns though, because they didn't have that. They didn't have that many guns. So we want Ohio. If we can find more Kentucky, that would be great. No, that's Illinois. All right, tell you what, we'll just do that. Okay. Okay. All right, so that should put us at the southern end of the map. Hopefully. Oh, it would make sense for the defend. Okay. Okay. That would make sense for the defender because they're the ones who are coming down. Right, got it. Okay. All right. Okay, let's take a look at the. All right, now everything looks correct. Okay. All right, let's. Okay. All right. Like I was saying, 1862. The year is 1862. The war has been raging for a couple of years now. All right. Well, oh, hang on. All right. Anyways, whatever. I'm just gonna work with it. It's kind of distracting, but it's all right. The year is 1862. The war's been raging now for a couple of years, and the Confederacy had made two important victories by the hands of General Beauregard. That is the Battle of Bull Run and the Battle of Manassas, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but I do believe those two were Bull Run is the biggest one because that is where the Union was really facing some backlash with their fighting against the Confederacy. So what ended up happening was, let's see, General Grant, along with Flak Officer Foote, had initiated an assault and capturing both Forts Henry and Forts Donelson, or Forts Henry and Donelson. And so they took that in the Western Theater, which had forced the Western General, or the General of the Western Theater, who was Albert Sidney Johnston, back to Corinth. And so with all of this retreating, it then opened the Union up to capturing all of these different locations, Nashville being one of the most crucial locations that the Confederacy could lose, which was a pretty big industrial place. And so now, with giving up Kentucky and most of Tennessee, the Union began to push further and further down Tennessee into Mississippi, where they were going to attack a place called Corinth. Corinth was a very, very vital point for the Confederacy because that specific location was the crossroads of where the Confederacy could receive troops and ammunition, gear, all that stuff. So they needed to defend Corinth. And I believe Albert Sidney Johnston had received a telegram, a letter from the president, the Confederacy, President Davis, at the time saying, I expect victory. And so Johnston took that literally. Even gave his own life for it. So, General Halleck was a very cautious general. And so what they did was the Union began to ship forces from northern Tennessee into southern Tennessee. Okay. And Grant, getting there first, was ordered to wait because he was going to receive reinforcements from General Bullock. I'm sorry, General Buell. Yeah, General Buell. Yeah, there we go. General Buell from Ohio. So, with all of that waiting, there were some things that were going to happen. Now, General Buell on the way, Grant was pretty much isolated. And Johnston received word of that. So taking advantage of that situation, because you see, you guys, here, let me see if I can, let's see if I can move. There we go. I'm going to move it just for today. So you can see the map here, right? Pittsburgh Landing is somewhere, I believe it's around here or right here. No, it's right here, I believe. Pittsburgh Landing. Okay. That, yeah, I believe this is Pittsburgh Landing right here. Okay. And this is where Grant had set down. Or I believe it was either that or across the river. I think it was across the river here. It could have been across the river. But Pittsburgh Landing is where the Union forces were. Now, they had already set up encampments all the way along here because, or excuse me, like all the way along here because they were going to make their advance. However, they didn't anticipate Johnston taking advantage of Grant being isolated. So, what then happened was Johnston, along with Beauregard, had taken 44,000, I believe, around 44,000 Confederate troops to Shiloh. Okay. Now, there was a really bad storm that had washed all of these roads. You see these dirt roads here? They had washed all of these roads pretty much to mush. And because of those roads being so bad, the Union did not anticipate an attack. And Beauregard had actually advised Johnston to retreat and wait until the roads got better, but that's not how war works. So Johnston had then replied to him that I would attack them even if there were 1,000,000. And so they went ahead with the attack.
Are a type of incendiary.
They went ahead with the attack. All right, so let's see. Let's get all of our troops here. That is a massive line. We're probably going to have to tighten that up.
Artillery!
Or we're probably going to have to put you here. And then where's our other artillery?
Lancers!
Here, let's order our guns here.
Yes, sir. Cavalry!
Oh, we got what, 3? I think we got 3 so far.
Battle line! March! Battle line!
All right, so we're gonna move these guys
Battle line!
forward
Morning,
here.
General.
skirmishers.
Battle line.
We're going to move them there. So, Johnston had received that information April 2nd, and it took them a couple days to get up to Shiloh. The reason for the name is because there is a church around here somewhere. I believe right here. Yeah, I believe right here. It was called Shiloh. That's where the battle started. That's where it began. The reason for it is because that name is pretty ironic, because it means place of peace.
Waiting for orders, sir.
So what they did was they took skirmishers, and while catching the Union lines off guard, again not anticipating an attack, they then began to rout them. That was on that was with Sherman's division. Okay. Now, with the surprise attack, Sherman was not exactly convinced that there was a Confederacy advance. That was until he was shot in his hand and his orderly was killed. That point, he was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, something's not right. Something is not right here." So, make sure we got. All right. Oh. All right. So yeah, I'm kind of curious. Is this the Purdy Road? Is this Purdy Road right here? I think this is Purdy Road. Yeah, I think this is Purdy Road here. Could be wrong. Because this is Jones Field here. Yeah, that's Jones Field. Now, let's see, where's Bloody Pond at? Did they not put in Bloody Pond? They should have. What's over here? Oh, that's a building. Okay. I'm kind of confused. Where's Bloody Pond at? I don't see Bloody Pond anywhere. So, a few locations to really consider when you're looking at the history of the Battle of Shiloh is the Bloody Pond, the Church Shiloh, and Pittsburgh Landing. Now, I believe the battle lines were something like this here initially. So let's let's move these guns. Let's move these guns up here.
Give me the binoculars. Reporting, General. Battle line.
All right. All right. Let's see. I think. Are they moving? Yeah, they're moving. They're moving. Okay. So, not anticipating an attack. We're going to see if we can launch an attack here. We are outnumbered. We are outnumbered, so So on the morning of April 6th, 1862, the Confederates began their attack. After Sherman was hit and his orderly was killed, literally at, and I believe this was supposed to be Shiloh, or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe this is Shiloh right here. Yeah, I think this is Shiloh right here. So let's see if we can move our troops back here. I don't know if we can actually do that just as of yet. No, that's fine. That's fine. It's not going to be a completely accurate scenario anyways, so. But we do have some skirmishers here, because that's exactly who shot Sherman and killed his orderly, were skirmishers. They were hiding in a wood line, and they were caught off guard completely. Some of them, I believe quite a few of the troops were still sleeping as the Confederates attacked. So after that, there was a line. I believe it was Sherman, Prentiss, and then Hurlbut on the lines there. So when the and all of the battling began, or the battle began around 6 in the morning, and then Grant had heard the shooting from the cannons and everything like that around 7:30. So let's see if we can spread these guys out.
Reporting, General.
Get these guys moved up here.
Reporting, General.
And so what they did was they were pushing on Sherman's flank, and they wore down the Union forces quite a bit. Quite a bit. Essentially forcing them back. Let's see. Actually, let's move these guys around here.
Reporting, General. Reporting, General. Yes, sir.
All right, let's get our lines set up here.
Reporting, General. Let's close it out. Reporting, General. Reporting, General.
Your men have been routed, sir.
Oh, they're already routed.
Reporting, General. Reporting, General.
All right. Should be able to push those guys through. All right, so let's just imagine that this is... Let's imagine that this is Sherman's flank here. They were pushing the Confederates were pushing super hard on Sherman's flank. It was an effort to try and break Union lines.
Give me the binoculars.
So they eventually did.
Reporting, General.
They eventually did break them, and
Your men
Sherman
have been routed, sir.
had to fall back. Well, what ended up happening was, as they fell back, they were able to reinforce their lines, and they eventually were able to push back against the Confederates, pushing them back. I believe they had started from Shiloh and then pushed them all the way up a couple of miles to Jones Field. And then from Jones Field, Sherman had actually pushed them back to Shiloh. Actually, we're kind of near Shiloh, aren't we? Yeah, I think that's Shiloh right there. And so this is somewhat accurate here.
Your men have been routed, sir.
Now these guys have been routed.
Reporting, General.
Now we want to tighten up those lines there.
Reporting, General.
Yes, sir.
Let's see, where are...
Battle line.
Okay. We gotta fix up those lines there. Now, as the fighting was carrying on, I don't believe Grant got to Shiloh until, or Pittsburgh Landing until mid-morning, I think. Now,
Reporting, General.
with all of this going on, Johnston was really able to capitalize on a lot of what was happening. And so, as Sherman's line was kind of breaking still, Johnston had actually committed the last of his reserves to support on Grant's right flank, which was Sherman's flank. So that opened up for Sherman to pull back, and Sherman had actually pulled back all the way to I believe it was this ridge up here that they had pulled back to, and that left Prentiss here in the middle, and then Hurlbut on Johnston's left. What they were trying to do, the Confederacy, was they were trying to break up the line between Prentiss and Hurlbut, and that's actually what they were able to do. Now, it's not exactly easy to see here because of all of the chaos going on, and again, outnumbered here too, so it's not exactly an accurate
Reporting, General.
situation here.
A unit has grown weary, sir.
But they were able, because of Albert Johnston, they were able to break up this section of the battle here, because the lines were around something like that, right? And as Sherman fell back to here, Prentiss was still here, and then General Hurlbut was here. And Johnston was, he was hammering this location. And so what ended up happening was that Hurlbut had to fall back, leaving Prentiss surrounded. And that is what led to the Confederacy surrounding the Union forces, and that location is known as the Hornet's Nest. I believe it was around a thicket, and I can't remember if it was around here or not. It might have been around somewhere around here. I don't know, because I don't think they put the Bloody Pond, because it was right over by the Bloody Pond. But again, I don't see the Bloody Pond here. So our forces are being routed here. So I guess what we're going to do is we're going to have to... Oh, well, it looks like the Confederacy... The Confederacy is now stuck in a Hornet's Nest. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that ironic?
Reporting, General.
Yeah, our lines are
Reporting,
in a
General.
bit of a mess.
Your men have been routed, sir.
So let's see if we can actually work our way. All right, so with all of this chaos happening on General's left flank, everyone fought back. Now, at the time that Prentiss was being surrounded, Johnston had an old wound from a dueling match that left his right leg numb. And Johnston didn't notice at the time, but he had actually been struck in the leg, severing his artery in that push to rout General Hurlbut's division, which led to the surrounding, right, of Prentiss and Wallace. I'm sorry, Prentiss and Wallace. Now, as and General Johnston, then I believe somewhere around here, had actually bled to death from his wounds.
Your men have been routed, sir.
And that was around 2:45 in the afternoon. So that actually did a lot of morale. It did a lot for morale because Johnson was the highest ranking officer to die in that battle, or to die in the Civil War, I believe. And so, with that, it led to General Beauregard taking command, who was sick with a bronchial infection at the time. So, as that was raging on, they absolutely needed to take. They needed a victory. They did, and they pushed really, really hard. However, it was really hard to get the Confederacy to focus on the task at hand because a lot of these guys were stopping because there were encampments along the way, right? So they were having a hard time controlling. Johnston himself was having a hard time controlling the Confederate units as they were, falling apart, essentially pillaging and looting for food and all that stuff. And so, as they were doing that, it allowed the lines to kind of patch up and stuff. That is what really did a number on the lines. If they hadn't have done that, which is understandable, mind you. It's definitely understandable for sure. So
a unit has grown weary, sir.
Oh, but they're charging.
Morning, General.
Oh, that's chaos, dude. Yes, that is chaos. Oh, yeah, Beauregard's retreating. So, in the beginning of the battle, because the Confederacy had numbered anywhere between 40 to 45,000 troops, they were able to push Grant back all the way pretty much to Pittsburgh Landing. And Grant nearly lost the battle. The only thing that really saved Grant was the reinforcements from Ohio with General Buell. So it was a very, very hard battle. April 6th. And General Beauregard was under the impression, since Grant was falling back so much, that he didn't see any reinforcements come in, that he thought he had already won the battle. So he was relaying back to, I believe, Corinth, or no, I believe it was President Davis, that victory had been won. What they didn't know was that Grant was going to receive reinforcements that night. So it was Nelson and was it Nelson and Wallace? I may be getting a few things mixed up here. There's just so much to remember. But within the Hornet's Nest here, which was on April 6th, sorry about that, they were trying to retreat, both Prentice and Wallace. And I believe Wallace... Okay. So Wallace did arrive, because Wallace was one of the reinforcements. So Wallace gets there, you know, he's helping out, he's trying to do whatever. And then they get wrapped up in the Hornet's Nest, right? They get wrapped up in the Hornet's Nest. And so in trying to retreat from being surrounded, Wallace is actually shot in the head. So the Confederates eventually push up, yes, right, sir, all the way to Pittsburgh Landing, just about. And then the morning, or the nightfall of April 6th, General Grant receives reinforcements. So, the morning of April 7th, Grant then launches a counterattack against General Beauregard. And they now number around 54,000 troops to General Beauregard, who is now assuming command of the Western Theater after Johnston is struck in the leg and killed. That number being 30,000. So
a unit has grown weary, sir.
What happens is Grant then just destroys. Maybe not destroys, but Grant does a phenomenal job of pushing the Confederates back further and further and further. Now, Beauregard does do a pretty decent job with counterattacks and being very vicious with it. But Beauregard is obviously not doing so well, right? I mean, he's outnumbered 24,000 troops plus, right? And so what happens is he has to retreat back to Corinth. And they eventually lose Corinth as well. But as you can see, there's a mass rout now. They are not doing so hot. Beauregard is already left. And that is how the battle went. Total initial forces from the Confederacy was around 44,000. Whereas the Union, I believe it was around 40 to 47,000, I think. And then they had actually increased their numbers with those reinforcements to about 60,000. So, this battle was considered one of the bloodiest, or was considered the bloodiest battle of the time. Numbering around 24,000 souls lost in the battle. A very costly battle, very bloody battle. And some of the accounts were absolutely heartbreaking. Well, with one account being General Johnston himself.
Yes, sir.
One of his staffers, I believe, had asked him, "Sir, have you been hit?" And he was growing pale. That's how they noticed that he was hit. And then Johnston had replied, "Yes, and I fear fatally." And then that's where he had later on passed Now, what's interesting is that he had actually sent his doctor away. Either that or his doctor was just away, either one. But he didn't have his doctor available. And so what happened was, because he didn't have a tourniquet available, he died because of that. And that's what would have saved his life, is if he had a tourniquet. Unfortunately. But that was the reason for him passing away. Now, after that, it was really hard for the Confederacy to continue, because as they pushed the Union back, all of these guys were just continuously worn down, obviously, right? And when those reinforcements came in, which half of them were fresh, they just really weren't going to stand a chance. But they did put up a good fight. They really did, because let's see, the Confederates lost around 10,600 troops, versus the Union had lost around 13,000. Right, which brings that total to almost 24,000 troops. Now, because Grant had almost lost the war, or not lost the war, but lost the battle, they had, oh boy, a lot of people were calling for Grant's resignation. A lot of people were calling for Grant's resignation.
Yes, sir.
However, President Lincoln at the time had said, and saved his career, saying that, you know, he couldn't spare him. He fights. And so he remained in command, just put under a lot of pressure from General Halleck. So, but that is the
Waiting for orders, sir.
Battle of Shiloh. That's the Battle of Shiloh.
Let's close it out.
You know, a place that's supposed to be peaceful ended up turning into one of the bloodiest battles of the war. Now back to the accounts. You know, after General Johnston, there was another account of, I can't remember exactly which general. I want to say maybe Prentice. I'm not sure exactly which general, but I do believe, from what I remember, there was a general who had accounted a set of brothers, right? A couple brothers. One was mortally wounded in the head, shot in the head, and his brother was desperately trying to carry him off the battlefield. And he looked at the general and he said, "General, please help me. We can save my brother. We can save my brother. He's gonna be okay. He just needs some rest." And the general looked at me and said, "You can't save him, bro. You can't. He's already gone." So, war is a very terrible thing, is what I'm getting at. War is a very terrible thing. As you can see, just imagine what these guys were feeling at the time, you know? I mean, just seeing all these guys running away like this, as they see thousands and thousands of Union forces, you know, firing at them. It's terrifying, man. It is. It's absolutely terrifying. You know? But that's just how it went. And let's see if we can fast fast forward this.
A unit has grown weary, sir.
I'm surprised they haven't. Oh.
Sir! Sir!
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's close it out! Retreat!
Wow, breaking like that. They were severely outnumbered. So. Oh yeah, yeah, severely outnumbered. Severely outnumbered. I just want to know where's the bloody pond? It's supposed to be around here. Let me look at this real quick. Yeah. So let's see. I think it's supposed to be right here. Here, let me try and map this out. See, Church Shiloh is along. Yeah. Okay, so we're looking for the Hamburg Savannah Road. And I think Yeah. Okay, yeah, so this is... Right. So... It should be around here. I don't know why they didn't put it in. That's so weird. Oh, they got nowhere to go. Is this supposed to represent the peach orchard here? I'm assuming that is the case. But yeah, the bloody pond should be around here. Yeah, it should absolutely be around here somewhere. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't put... Yeah, I don't know why they didn't model in the
Morning,
bloody
General.
pond. But anyways, that was that was it. All right, they should be calling it here pretty soon.
The battle is all but over, sir.
Mm. It's pretty much over, bro. It's pretty much over. We just gotta see if we can call it. I just don't know why they didn't put in the bloody pond, bro. That's one of the most that's one of the most important parts of the map, and they didn't put it in. I mean, unless I'm just missing it. I did see a Shiloh and a Shiloh B, so it might be Shiloh B. We might have to take a look at Shiloh B and see if we can make an even bigger army. Yeah, this is already that's already over. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and end that just so I'm not wasting your guys' time. All right, so let's see if we can get this Shiloh B. Is that it right there? Or Shiloh. Okay. That's weird. All right. Let's see if we can. Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't save. It actually doesn't save army setups. I don't know why it does. I don't know why it does that. See if we can get a bigger army going on here. Hmm. I tell you what, no, it's fine. That's fine. I think we did justice for what we could do. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and call it there. Not exactly a an actual um accurate, reenactment, obviously. I will be making sure to get the next one as accurate as possible. But I did want to go over a little bit of history because I'm from Tennessee, and I actually really enjoyed looking and doing some research on the Battle of Shiloh. Something that I really enjoy doing is taking a look at history and sharing it with you guys, especially if we can reenact the stuff. Super dope. But what battle should I take a look at next? What guys would you recommend for the next battle that we take a look at and try and reenact? Um, I'm thinking we could probably I wanted to start with Shiloh because I'm from Tennessee, so I'm thinking we'll probably reverse it back to the bombing of Fort Sumter, like where it all began, and just kind of like work our way through, right? And then we could probably do Shiloh again, to do a little bit more justice than what we did. So, but yeah, I just kind of want to do something like this. So it's kind of cool to do a little bit of history with you guys. So, um, but I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. Thanks, guys, for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully, this was entertaining for you guys. And if it was, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, join the family, and also please make sure you join the channel Discord if you want to get involved with these reenactments and stuff like that. Because we don't. I'm not just doing the Civil War. I'm also doing the Revolutionary War too. So, and then I'm also thinking about doing some World War I stuff because there's some mods for that. I think there might be some World War II mods. I'm not sure, but that's another thing that I'm looking at. So make sure you guys join the channel Discord if you guys are interested in getting in on the next live streams or videos. And I'll be more than happy to have you guys along for that. But I'm going to go ahead and end off today's stream before the big storm finishes rolling on through here. Make sure you guys are staying warm. And if you need me, please reach out. Love you all. Talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.